Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Pop culture edition.
Woo!
Yeah.
Happy Pride!
Yeah. We're gonna work on some Pride stuff, hopefully. If you like our show and you want other people to know about it, you can subscribe, share, like, comment, all of those things. If you don't know who to share it with, all of those things help other people see it eventually. So yeah, we've got a special Pride sadness true crime episode
that involves gay history.
Right. I think like that's
Can't
the
ignore.
thing. Right. Like we hear this like Black History Month too. Like it shouldn't be all these are the bad things that have happened to minorities and oppressed communities. However, we are currently under an administration that wants those things to continue happening to those people, and so we have to like talk about it so that.
And also, we cover true crime, and crimes usually are bad. So this, I have no excuse, but I just want to warn that this episode is. I didn't really like line things up super beautifully. I was just typing to my heart's content, putting all my thoughts down. So bear with. We're just gonna goss. We're gonna goss out of order.
Speaking of goss, I have a book recommendation for y'all. You Didn't Hear It From Me by Kelsey McKinney is what I'm listening to right now, and it is so fucking good. Top tier. I love it.
Cool. All right. Well, starting off with the big news that congratulations are in order to one Miss Taylor Swift, who now owns her entire music catalog. Woo-woo! Yay! We are obviously so excited for her. And really, this isn't like a but to the excitement, but she did write that letter and make us all look like a bunch of dummies when she said, I have not even re-recorded a quarter of Rep TV.
But I did love like the growth of I just need to make a better album to this is the one album I couldn't make better.
Yeah. But all of the memes are now like, this girl would rather spend $360 million than like sing about Joe falling in love with Joe Alwyn again. But then other people are like, it's not about Joe. She said the album's just too good. And it's like, yeah, but it's funny to say that it's about Joe. But
and I like
it's so crazy because it's like it does beg a lot of questions about like then why a lot of things. Why the gold Reputation bodysuit? Yeah. Why all these things?
Why the 26s? I think, and like I don't know if I'm alone in this, I haven't seen it elsewhere. I think that the songs she's talking about that she's re-recorded are the ones that we've already heard. Yeah. Like Delicate, Look What You Made Me Do. And I think that she probably only re-recorded them because she had to.
Yeah.
Because she didn't own them and
people were like, I want to use these. Right. And she's like, okay.
So I think when she says like I don't think I could have made it better, I think that like she's so serious. Like I'm not re-recording these songs unless I am made to. And now I don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
And I probably won't.
Yeah. And she said we will still get the vault songs.
Yes. That's good. I hope she just releases it as karma though.
True. I'm also like, everyone's like, Taylor Swift has no money now. Everyone go buy her stuff. She's poor. But like, it was funny the way that she's like, well, I've just been spending the last 2 years working so hard so that I could afford to buy these back. Like, she's just some single mother who's like trying to make ends meet. I was like, okay.
Somebody said she's not poor. She literally owns 360, what is it? 360,000? $360 million worth of music.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone said like she has already like made, like, that was buying them under value, and now she's like already made that money. Like, they're all #1 albums again. She did mention in her very long letter that she can only write now that she has had LASIK, that she did re-record Debut, and that will be given to us if we're interested. Bitch, the fuck, you taunting us now. But she did not mention vault songs for debut, and for me, those are the most important vault songs because I actually know them.
Yeah, but where's Permanent Marker?
Swear to God, if I Heart ? And I'd Lie are not available to me, I'm gonna scream.
Somebody said she, like, not to mention, she now also owns Beautiful Eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, she could just cram that on there and say it's a vault song, and I'd be like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
First thing I did was buy Reputation album.
Nice.
Reputation is my favorite. I did not buy a debut album because it sounded like we could get it, so I was like, yeah, but I'm not holding my breath for Reputation because of my favorite.
Yeah,
you never know.
Also, last night or yesterday, her and Travis are at a wedding together in Tennessee.
In Knoxville.
So cute.
Yes. But I gotta say this. I love her. But her selfies are never good. I don't know what she's doing. But she always looks weird.
That's like, so normal of her.
I know. I'm a fan.
Yeah, well, thanks, Mary. We never knew. I'm a fan of Taylor Swift.
I'm a fan of her ugly selfies.
All right. Follow up to, we've been talking about this every time. Finally, Jojo Siwa and Chris Hughes have acknowledged that their relationship is no longer platonic, and Jojo says that they are head over heels for each other.
Happy Pride.
Whoa. Huh? Happy Pride.
And then have you seen that people are like mad at Fletcher now too?
Yeah, I haven't listened to that song, but given the title, I've gathered why people are mad.
Well, but like, so I've also heard people say that like Fletcher was out as bi.
I think so,
before. And so like they're like, she can date a man and we shouldn't be shocked.
That's literally what bisexual women do.
Jojo Siwa, less than a calendar year ago, announced that she's the CEO of gay pop.
Yeah.
Finding out that Chris Hughes had never heard of or seen Dream Guest on my podcast actually explains so much for me.
Yeah.
On how this happened.
No, there has to be so much he doesn't know.
No, literally, like because then she filmed him watching it for the first time, and he said, "I don't understand. Was this for Halloween?" So like he knows nothing about her, obviously, because like he's looking at her dressed like that and like, what is she kissed for Halloween? Like, is she trying to beat out Nick Jonas in the Kiss biopic? Like, what's happening? And she said that she was so embarrassed, and that like people keep bringing it up. She's like, it was like the most like embarrassing, like humiliating moment of my life, and like people made it into a meme, and I have to show my boyfriend about it. I'm like, girl, you said it.
Yeah.
You purposely acted like that for months.
Yeah.
Don't act all shy now.
And that was not, that was not like, this is from Dance Moms.
Right.
Like, this is like
less than a calendar year ago.
Yeah, crazy. This is the only thing I have bringing us back for just a second to Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Well, actually, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is doing a reunion. I guess I should say this. And Nick
Minus
Viall.
Demi.
Yeah, crazy. Demi's not going to be there. Nick Viall is going to be the host. So that's good. We had been wondering if we would get a reunion. We are. But I have perhaps had a change of heart about Jen Affleck actually being a liar versus last time I was arguing that she's just a fellow embellisher.
Right.
However, I saw her and Zach on the Viall Files where they both confirmed that Jen's pregnancy with their second child was a surprise only to Zach because Jen had secretly removed her IUD that they had agreed to get after their first child and tricked him into impregnating her.
Do you think her IUD is the one that's hanging out on Love Island?
Maybe.
Like scary and also like wild to say out loud in like a joking way with her sitting right there. Like he's like, yeah, this bitch tricked me into getting her pregnant.
But also like wilder of her to just be like, hee hee, yeah.
Yeah.
Like she literally is like, yeah, I did do that. And it's like, I'm realizing more and more. So like when the show started and the first scene with them was him coming back to their house, I was like, they're separated and like he's putting on this show that he's a better and changed guy just because it's the first episode. But now I'm more like, I had read somewhere that there were rumors that the whole separation was like just a storyline.
Yeah.
And that like she knew she was pregnant and like
Demi and Dakota.
Right. And so now I'm like, oh, like that kind of makes sense to me that like they already knew or she already knew that she was pregnant. And then she's like, cool, like we've been beefing. I mean, it sounds like they were separated unless that's all fake too, that he like brought luggage and like pretended he had been living somewhere else, which like I guess is possible.
Yeah.
But I just am like, okay, maybe Jen is a liar.
Yeah. I hate, as someone who loves reality TV, when someone who doesn't love reality TV is like, it's all scripted. Like, you know, the production sitting right there, like, ma. Because I don't want to know that.
Mm-mm.
I like to think that's not true.
I don't know
for
what you're talking
about.
A
lot of my favorite scenes. So like the openness that the Mormon wives have about that aspect of their show, I don't love.
Yeah.
And it just makes you question every single thing. And like we said that too about like a lot of like the things that the housewives say now and that they say about Vanderpump Rules. And like in the Kelsey McKinney book I was listening to, she talks about like reality TV tropes, and she said something about like how a lot of times they'll, like in The Bachelor, show someone kind of eavesdropping and then it looks like they're talking to themselves. And she's like, they are not talking to themselves. There's a producer right out of a camera shot that they're having a full conversation with. And I'm like, I think that's like different. Like for me to believe that like production prompts questions for you to ask, that production asks you questions and tries to get the answers, that production hides and has a conversation with you, that's fine to me. But I don't love them talking about these like fully fabricated storylines that they've been told to come up with or that they pull out of their ass.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like,
I think that's where I struggle is like, who's the enemy here?
Right.
Is it production or is it these people who think that this will make them stars?
Right.
And it's like, there have been times where like people have alleged that like production, like they said this on Roni once, that like production would literally like hold up something on their phone and be like, ask Ramona, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's like, that's obviously like, that sucks. And or that like production would maybe just kind of say like, hey, what do you think's going to be the big focus this season? And just like kind of make people think
about something that's true.
Right. That's what I was going to say,
Right.
was that it's like, sure, like we know that, or like you think about like, I assume haven't gotten here, but like we had talked about on the most recent season of Beverly Hills, Dorit's like telling a story about her kids post-divorce, and Sutton's like, okay, nice story, we have to go. And then she says later that production like told her they were in a hurry. Now, do I think production knew that would be some piping hot tea to like have her interrupt? Yeah, I do, obviously. But production is just saying like, we gotta go. It's also like a running joke with everyone that Dorit talks too much. So it's like, I think they knew that was funny, but you don't have to take the bait. But then it's like, I feel like we're entering into a world where it's not far-fetched to be like, oh, if you don't make up a storyline, is production going to kick you off the show?
Right.
If you don't come up with a good drama, like, are they going to cancel the show? And it's like, then you have to think like, this is these people's livelihoods. And so like, they're going to do what they have to do. And like, yeah, I just think I've always been that way. Like, me and Mary have been watching reality TV for as long as we can remember. Right? Like, we grew up doing this. Our husbands, I guess I'll speak for mine, I don't know about yours, but like Billy is very into it now, but like it has been only because of me. Like, Billy did not grow up.
Family is very anti reality TV. Sammy doesn't like it. I told him this week my in-laws were visiting, and I said, I have a secret. And Sammy said, what is it? I said, don't tell her I told you, but I think I got your mom interested in some of the housewives. And he said, oh, what did you do to my mother? I said, but here's what happened. We were watching Bravo's Love Hotel. And at first she thought it was Love Island still. I said, no, this is a different show.
And then she saw Luann.
She said, oh, okay, they're older. I said, yeah. I said, so these are housewives, explaining the premise of the show. I said, what I find interesting is there are only 4 of them, and half of them have been in prison or jail. And she was like, for what? And I said, Shannon, I know, got a DUI. And Luann, I said, I think Luann also got a DUI, but there may have been something deeper. I can't really remember. Yeah, I said, I can't really remember what Luann's was. I think it was more than that, but I know Shannon got a DUI. And then I was like on my phone, and she said, ooh, she's telling him about the DUI. I said, oh, she's interested. But yes, very different from how we were raised.
Sure. But my point is, like, Billy, when he started, and he still does, like, Billy will be like, that's fake. Or like, look, I'm going to say back in the day for me, I don't know if they're still doing this, but I don't watch Bachelor things anymore. But like, remember back in the day, like, they would have like someone's parents like show up and like knock on the door, or like someone would come back, obviously from like the past or whatever. And every time Billy's like,
you still be doing that.
Fake. It's fake. Like, whatever. And I just like, it's hard for me when I watch reality TV a lot of the time to even remember the cameras are there.
Yes.
And Billy, like, okay, Mary Cosby had a conversation with her son this last season that was like really hard and really like heart-wrenching. And Billy's like that. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about the fact that they would have had to discuss the fact that cameras would go into his room. I'm just like, no, they're just having this conversation organically, and cameras happen to be there.
Right.
And it's like, obviously that is not true, because they had to go into his room and have a conversation about addiction.
Yeah.
And so like, they did have to get his consent to have the cameras in there. Yeah. But I just never think
it's ingrained in you differently when you see it from childhood.
Right. Like, I'm just like, it just happened to be caught on camera for me. Like they are on the Truman Show.
Yeah. When we get to Love Island, I saw something about this and said like, is like, producers had to approve Yalissa's outfit. And I was like, what? And they said like, production approves every outfit they wear on Love Island. And I was like, okay. But like, those are things that, like, I don't know if that's true, but, like, those are just things that I don't think about. And, like, but, like, we talked about with, like, Stassi's engagement, she
Mm-hmm.
said, like, they would not let us change between takes because then we would have to stop and explain why we were wearing different clothes
Sure.
and, like, whatever. And, like, even those, like, teeny tiny things, like,
Yeah.
that you wouldn't really think about that they have all this
Yeah.
control over, like,
Yeah. Or like the
I
scenes where in Vanderpump Rules where they catch them fresh out of waking up. I
Right.
never thought about the fact that like
right
they're not in there all night, so they had
Right.
to be let in, and
Right.
obviously you're already awake. So it's
Right.
like that is crazy that it doesn't cross my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I should continue on like being naive, but like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is breaking the fourth wall
Yeah.
near constantly.
Right.
And part of me like loves that. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
I love that we're just talking about the fact that this is a job. We're just talking about the fact that like this is what they're doing. We're talking about how it is suspicious for people to come back or to try to come into season 2 because you already have the clout. Like I think that's fine to talk about. But then at a certain point I'm like, la 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 la.
Yeah. Here's my final thought, hot take, and I posted this on Threads the other day and I stand by it. Televised sports are by definition a form of reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you out there who, my husband, who can't sit through a reality TV show without making a comment about how it's, I mean, how it's fake and blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah,
you sit and you watch reality TV too. It just looks different for you.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Super Bowl happened and all those people were saying that they rigged the games for the Chiefs, that was production interfering with your beloved game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel when the Mormon wives start talking about how they're making things up to seem more interesting.
Yeah. Not my fave. Yeah, and then it also makes you wonder, like, is the Marciano thing, like, all a storyline thing that got out of hand? Like,
Right.
did Demi think it would make their show
That's
better
why
to, like, do a
that's why I
cross
said,
Hulu
like,
thing and then...
yeah, that's why I said, like, do you think they make him say something? Because, like, if they ask them, like, to make up storylines,
Sure. Yeah, who knows?
but he also, I would not be surprised if he was just talking out of his ass because he likes to.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess there were a lot of reality TV stars in Miami Swim Week. Like it feels like that's kind of what we're shifting
It's
to.
like, where are you going?
Which was fun.
Yeah.
Like I think it's fun to give people that they recognize and that are influencers, because I'm never aware of Miami Swim Week.
Right.
And now like it was everywhere. My whole feed. And all the people I love.
And I was like, okay, wait, like Bethany Frankel's hot.
Yeah. I think it was obviously also just like kind of an effort for like inclusivity and that like we don't have to have like supermodels all the time. Not, but like I won't pretend that like all those people weren't also still smoking hot. Right. So like whatever. But like how fun, like how invested are people? I think they're just realizing like how many people are into reality TV, that it's like, I'm going to tune in because of Stassi, or I'm going to tune in because of the people from Love is Blind. And like, that's cool.
But even like beyond that, like Alana Mar, Livy Dunn, like they're Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
Also walking in Swim Week.
Yeah.
I keep moving. And like I think like Livy Dunn did like the splits or a flip or something while she was up there because she's a gymnast.
Yeah. It was fun stuff. Cool. Okay. Some celebrities, also some reality TV stars, have been pardoned by our current president, including Todd and Julie Chrisley from the good old Chrisley Knows Best.
I did not know that was her first name. Also, all of their shows are now trending on Peacock.
Great.
I hate it.
So they were in prison for over $30 million worth of fraud, which they now claim that they are innocent of.
Now, what were they claiming before?
Well, I think she had pled guilty. And because I saw in an interview with him, the same one you're about to reference, I think he had said like, basically they were like, are you sorry for what you did? And he said, I would be if I did it. And they were like, yeah, but Julie said that she did it. And he explained to them how the criminal justice system works.
He mansplained it.
Which is that you often admit to doing things that you did not do because it makes your sentence less. What was weird is they didn't talk about him, so I don't know if like she pled guilty but he did not. This whole time,
I will gladly spend some time in prison.
Yeah,
away from Julie quickly.
Happy Pride.
Yeah. Shockingly, in that interview, do you hear that? Todd came out and talked about, not that kind of came out. A girl can dream. And talked about how the young African-American men in his prison were treated very differently from how he was. He said it's not a fair shake. He was not denied programming and access to certain things that they were denied. And then he said, and we know why I wasn't. I said, hey, that man, he about to put you back in there.
Yeah.
If you don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying you shouldn't say it, because it's true. Yeah,
please.
But he's going to put you back.
But our current president, that's not what he was looking for.
Right. There's a reason he pardoned you.
Yeah. Although, he also pardoned NBA Youngboy.
No, yeah, but I don't know who that is. But I'm saying the reason he pardoned him is because his daughter is got a hard on for him.
No, I know, but I'm saying he did also pardon a black man, or multiple, but like a young rapper
that would have voted.
I don't know. But what I'm saying is, illusion wise, he may be willing to be like, oh yes, I have no problem with that. See,
yeah,
it's all good. But yeah, thanks to their very MAGA daughter,
she has that
Savannah,
MAGA hat in every fucking color.
Thanks to Savannah Chrisley, Todd at least has been thrust right back into the world of influencing and stardom, and it seems like we are back on track for them to get a new show.
Yeah. Katie Roast from Real Housewives of Potomac, and I know you've now, are you caught up on Potomac? Okay, but I know you've seen where Potomac is, and that she was like a political analyst or something.
Yeah.
Or like a political fundraiser or something like that.
Sure.
She tweeted, I am so happy for them. Now let's get Karen Huger a pardon. I'm serious, guys. She does not deserve to be in prison one more day. She needs treatment. She doesn't deserve this. I'm going to petition the president. # Katie vibes.
He does love the vibes.
So okay, girl. It just makes me question. You know, her.
Yeah, but I feel like you should have been questioning her anyway. Like, she spent. Again, I'm not caught up, but like someone who spends that much time, people do get to identify how they want. Okay, they do. I mean that wholeheartedly. However, someone that spends that much time trying to make clear that she does not consider herself black, or that she doesn't want you to consider her black, is like a red flag to me.
Yeah. I also, and you're not caught up, but like, now that she's a friend of, again, she's a very different person.
Sure.
I also, though, think she's mentally ill.
Yeah, maybe not a very different person.
You know. But her friend, he might need some time, though, because his bestie is turning on him.
Yeah, the girls are fighting, aren't they?
Completely random. Kendra Scott is dating Zach Brown.
So strange.
Do you know what I love?
I forget Kendra Scott is a real person, though.
I know.
I'm like, necklaces are dating Zach Brown.
Crazy. What I love about Kendra Scott is when Katie says we have been watching reality TV our whole lives. We have been in like the pits of weird reality TV. Like we watched Sweet Home Alabama, which was a dating show about farmers. We
now known as Farmer Wants a Wife.
right. But the first one was a woman.
And on CMT.
Yeah, it was on CMT. We watched Jerseylicious. We watched something called Big Rich Texas. And
love Married at First Sight. And 7 Year Itch, or 7 Year Switch.
Yes. On Big Rich Texas, in one of the seasons, because I rewatched it, not like, it was like at least 4 years ago that I rewatched it, but I rewatched it, and something that stuck with me was that they had these, it's about these like rich women in Texas. They're like debutante daughters and whatever, and they were doing like a charity event, and they invited their friend who is a new jewelry designer to like launch her small business and sell some jewelry that they were going to then use as like a fundraiser. And it was Kendra Scott.
Wow.
And no one had ever heard of her before. And I was like, oh my God, like what the heck? Because I love Kendra Scott jewelry.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's crazy. And so that's something that I always think about with Kendra Scott, is that she was once a small business owner, trying to get a voice on Big Rich Texas. And now she's dating Zach Brown. So that's pretty cool.
Crazy. And such ways. All right. Into the shows. Again, I just was like throwing all my thoughts onto paper. So just gonna beat bop around. So in Valley News, Jesse went on a podcast. I just thought for sure he would like lie when she asked this. He needs
a lesson from the men on Love Island.
Yeah. He went on a podcast and was asked about Michelle's claims that he was super controlling when she was in the hospital giving birth, and that like he wouldn't let her have an epidural and like all of this. And he confirmed it. He said, yeah, basically true. He said,
are we surprised?
No, I mean, no, but like, I don't know. I thought he would like spin it somehow and be like, no, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I actually am surprised. Okay,
but I think this is him spinning it, saying like, I took control of the situation because like my wife was incapacitated. That's his spin.
But like, but not like, what I'm saying is I thought he would go a little harder. Like I thought he was going to be like, we had already agreed on this and she changed her mind, but like whatever. And it's like, that's not really, anyway, he basically, he said they had been having discussions her whole pregnancy, and he wanted her to have as natural of a birth as possible. And she had already ruled out a home birth and like ruled out some things. And so then when the time came and they were like crunch time in the hospital, he just was like, I felt like I needed to be the one to take control and make the best decisions for us. So basically it sounds like the whole time he knew that they were on different pages. But now that she is incapacitated, he is like, cool. I get to be the one that says, no, we didn't want an epidural. No, we didn't want whatever. He basically is like, I didn't even want a home birth. Then we go to the hospital, and then I didn't want the epidural, and then we thought about Pitocin and like all this stuff. And I mean, he just never really lands on like a good reason that he felt like he was in charge of that.
Yeah.
And it was just
there comes a point where like you would be kicked out of my hospital room.
Yeah.
And somehow after he said this, people are still obsessed with him. So Katie doesn't have TikTok, but I don't know if this audio has made it over to Instagram. But those of you who are on TikTok, there's like a TikTok sound that's like how I feel about certain design choices with little to no explanation. And it's like just like yes,
Yeah.
no, slay, like whatever. And there's one part that says like I can't explain why, but I love it.
this one.
Or something.
Yeah.
And somebody did it with like the Cast of the Valley, and Jesse was the I can't explain why, but I love this one. And I ran to the comments to see, like, I wanted to see this person torn apart. And like everyone was agreeing with them. They were like, yes, like specifically, they were saying like yes to the Jesse one. Like not just like this is spot on, but like you were spot on about Jesse specifically. And like, oh yes, hate Michelle, love me some Jesse. Jesse's my favorite. Like I truly do not understand it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like such a perfect picture of like misogyny is alive and well, folks.
Yes.
Like we just hate women.
Right.
And
but like I'm also at a point with this where I'm like, I don't understand. If you want to hate women, fine. But like, why is there no one out there who's like, I hate Jesse and Michelle?
yeah.
Like, you know how like Hunter Schafer is like in the talks to be Princess Zelda. People are like, no, Hunter Schafer's a man. I saw this one tweet that said that it should be Sydney Sweeney, and someone responded and said, I'm transphobic and I still think Hunter Schafer would be a better Zelda than Sydney Sweeney. And I'm like, why is there no one on like that level of Jesse's wrong? Like being like, I hate women, but Jessie still sucks.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Crazy.
I don't get it. Like literally has no redeeming qualities. I don't understand how I think these people don't watch The Valley. Like I don't understand how you watched that scene of him walking around in his underwear and you weren't like, this is the grossest person alive. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Gross.
It's also like The Valley is just so heavy. Like,
yeah,
they're bringing like drama. Like I get the appeal of like continuing to watch it. I'm not like saying it's like too heavy for me to watch, but it's like it is so heavy. Like when I'm in the mood for reality TV, like I'm not necessarily in the mood for The Valley.
Yeah.
Like it's just like Brittany saying like she's about to lose the house because Jax hasn't paid the mortgage in months. Obviously, Jax is still in rehab. Jax is apparently now maybe bugged the house and is like listening to her. And it's like at a certain point, like it feels unethical to be like watching abuse happen on TV. And like I'm just kind of like maybe this is the time that Bravo could have been like, we've stopped including content about Jax Taylor.
Right. And like when we first started watching Beverly Hills, like Sammy said that too, like about Taylor's storyline. He was like, it feels like there's a point where they should have stopped filming and said like, we can't continue to include a storyline about a woman suffering regular domestic abuse. And even if they wanted to continue with that, at some point saying we can't continue this storyline of a man killing himself because his wife left him due to his domestic abuse. Like he was like, something should have stopped.
Yeah. And it's like I get that it's hard because like Brittany wouldn't want to stop filming, like this is her job and she like needs money, and so it's like I don't know like what the fair answer is, but it's like I guess I don't know. I hope that at the reunion, like they call it what it is, that like your husband putting listening devices in your house that you don't know about and then texting the producer to say like, watch your fucking mouth, I can hear y'all, like is crazy. And then like it is abuse. And like I kind of hope that like by the reunion, like Jax can't be there. Like I hope that it's like stuck in the trailer, like a restraining order situation. But
I also And like, I don't know what exactly producers do, but it feels to me like almost irresponsible to show that text to Brittany instead of, as a producer, being like, we have to stop with this man.
But yeah, like, I honestly think cameras should have gone. I mean, great that we got to see it, but like, cameras should have gone down and they should have said, we need to get out of this house and we need to either search for microphones and listening devices, or we need to call the police. We basically just got a threat, or we just need to film somewhere else. But we're putting Brittany in danger by asking her to have these conversations on camera in this house. If he, and like, not that he couldn't see it anyway, because it's going to be on camera and it's going to be on TV. So like, maybe that's the philosophy. But it's like, I don't know. It's getting so out of hand, and like, it's a nuts. Yeah. In lighter news, Zach, you cannot join us hyperbole queens. He's like, let me teach you about hyperbole. No.
Do any of the people on this cast know what hyperbole is? No.
But what you were talking about, not hyperbole. Stop it.
Leave us alone.
Yeah. Also, I did not need Scheana's enchiladas to make it into the valley.
Yeah.
Haunted.
Look, I was frustrated enough that she was there, but my least favorite word to say out loud. The enchiladas sent me over the edge. And I still said it wrong. The enchiladas sent me over the edge. I texted Katie. I said, I don't remember what I said. I said, get these fucking enchiladas out of here. Like.
And then after she makes everyone eat her enchiladas, she goes on to talk about how Brock's girthy penis gave her hemorrhoids.
The girth is what's important. I was like,
but like, okay, fine. Say that the girth is what is important. Hype this man up. Do whatever you want to do on TV. He can hang he can hang a TV in under 7 minutes. He's got a girthy penis.
TV with his peen.
Yeah, whatever. But like, the hemorrhoids.
Then she doubled down by posting a Bill Nye
but that's
style
Scheana, dude.
Instagram
She's like,
reel.
Embarrassment. I don't know her.
Yeah. She explained the science of hemorrhoids for her new Preparation H partnership. And this was like the next day. And like, I look, we hate the fourth wall breaking on a reality show, but I love when influencers tell me what goes on behind the scenes. So like, influencers have explained to me that it takes like weeks to work out a partnership deal and like get your content filmed. You have to get the content approved by the partner, make edits or whatever.
So she had to go to Preparation H and say, this is going to come up.
She contacted them and said, I'm going to say this on the Valley and you should make me a partner. That's so Scheana, actually.
And then she had to go to production and say, make sure you air that part.
Right.
Because I have a partnership.
I have something coming up. And they were like, fuck, we really didn't want to.
Yeah, we were going to cut that. I think that what I struggle with the cast of the Valley is that they are kind of like all insufferable.
Yeah.
Like the people that everyone hates, I'm like getting to where I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like I get why you hate Janet, I guess. Like she's a lot like Scheana. I guess the problem with Michelle, at least, is like the company she keeps, which is all those other people. I get whatever, but I don't like anybody except Nia.
Yeah.
And like watching Janet versus Jasmine was so painful to watch.
Just keep going.
Because I hate them both. Like Jasmine was acting like a lunatic.
Yeah.
And then I'm also like, how dare you put me on Janet's side right now?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I hate to admit it, but I kind of loved watching Janet with the metal detector.
She is so cute. Like she's a special interest girly.
Yes. And so like that coupled with her love of Dave and Buster's, I was like, okay, wait, like Janet's kind of fun. She's kind of a silly goose, kind of a cutie.
Yeah.
Like I kind of get why she has so many friends.
Yeah.
Is what I'll say.
Special interest queen.
Right. Also though, have you seen the video circulating about Dana and Janet?
Mm-mm.
Hilarious.
Talking?
No. It's a clip from the after show. I'm not sure if it's a Valley after show clip, if it's from the current season, if it's from an older season, if it's from when Dana was on Vanderpump Rules, which I don't think they had the after show then. I don't know when the clip is from, but they're talking about Dana and Max,
Mm-hmm.
and when they made their relationship official to Scheana, or when they told Scheana that they were like exclusively dating or whatever. And so that's what made me think maybe it was an older episode, but whatever. And somebody says like, well, tell them what Dana said to you about Janet. And they're like, oh yeah. So like basically they said that Dana and Max told Scheana that they were dating. And then somebody introduced Dana to Janet, and that was Dana's like sexual awakening, was Janet. And that she said that like she had always like thought she might be interested in girls, but that Janet, like meeting Janet was the first time that Dana could see herself dating a woman. And like being in a full relationship with a woman. And I was like, Janet? Janet was that for you?
Yeah. Crazy.
And like we've talked about, you and me, I don't know if we talked about it on here. I think we have. You and me have talked about my taste in women.
Mm-hmm.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Certainly not Janet, but
yeah, it's just
the idea
like
that Janet was anyone's sexual awakening is like nuts to me. Like,
yeah,
not
especially
that Janet's
when
not
I'm
beautiful.
considering that like Janet may be entirely straight. So it's just like interesting.
Not that Janet's not beautiful. We just talked about what a little cutie special interest girly she is, but like she's just so like normal.
Yeah.
And yes, like very straight that like I'm like, why? What made you think like
yeah, like when you're living in LA and you're surrounded by a bunch of like gay and bisexual and hot women, like it's an interesting one.
Right.
But whatever.
You met Lala, who ate Kentucky muffin in the back of the car or whatever.
Ariana's cookie.
What was the Kentucky muffin comment about? Who did that?
I don't remember.
It was one of the girls. One of the girls.
Jack said that Kristen and Brittany were like something.
Kristen ate Kentucky muffin.
Oh yeah, Lisa said that. We end kind of with Jason on the phone with Jax, and they're blown away by his great accountability. He finally took full accountability.
I was waiting for Janet's eyes to roll into the back of her head.
And then she's like crying.
Woman, yeah.
I was like, what
is
woman, happening?
How are you not seeing right through this?
Yeah. His accountability is always that he behaves, or like what he said then to us, like to the camera and to Jason and whatever, is that he behaves badly because he's behaved badly recently because all of their relationship, Brittany has let him behave badly. He's like, I treat Brittany so bad, and it's just because like the whole time we've been together, like she lets me get away with it. And it's just like, huh? So why did you ever start?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Sorry, I was editing something. I think the difference between like how Jax talks to Brittany and how he talks about her with his male friends is stark. Like even like talking to her through the producer, like he is just so like venomous towards her. Like everything is like so ugly. And then when he's talking about her to his friends, he's like, well, like, she's the mother of my child, and like, stop, like, show your ass.
I don't know, like, for me, that's the thing about Jax, is that I don't actually think the difference is stark enough. Like, I think with most abusers, like, they're real nice about their partner in front of people, and then, like, really mean behind closed doors. And I think that, like, even when he's talking to his friends, like, he is very like, well, obviously what she did by fucking Julian was disgusting. But I shouldn't have let myself get so angry. But, like, of course, anyone would be pissed. And it's like, I think, and then they were kind of talking about this. This is kind of what Michelle had said about when she said that Jesse was worse than Jax. She said, like, the reason that she believes that is because, like, Jesse basically moves different, that, like, it's a little more behind the scenes. And she's like, Jax will say all of that in front of all of us. Like, he will call Brittany a whore in front of everyone. And, like, although Jesse doing that now, calling her hooker in front of everyone. But, yeah, I mean, I think, but then it's also, like, I don't know. And Brittany has said recently, like, he does do a lot of shit in front of people, but imagine how much worse it is at home.
Right.
And it's like, that's true, right? That, like, the things he's texting her are worse than the things he's saying out loud. He's trying to sugarcoat them a little bit, but it's like, still, that whole conversation with Jason, he's like, obviously her hooking up with Julian was awful. And it's like, while y'all were separated, is it?
Yeah.
Is it awful?
Yeah.
Weirdo. All right. On to Summer House. So, we're going to do a little into the reunion, but first we have just all the news. And so, since the reunion has aired, we've had some things. Paige has announced that she is not returning to Summer House. She says it's not the last we will see of her. She has also launched a sleepwear line, so she's doing great. So I watched the reunion after her announcement. I watched it late, and so as I was watching, I was like, okay, all I care about is Paige. And if she's gone, then, like, I was watching and I was like, this is, like, a good final season. Like, it feels like a good ending. So I'm kind of scared they're going to try to keep it going too long and it's going to, like, mess it up. But we'll see. Also, she hasn't said anything on Instagram, but it sounds from the reunion like Lindsay will probably not be an official cast member this summer. She said that she will be in the Hamptons sometimes, but she will probably not be spending whole weekends
She's
there.
already posted some, like, Instagram content from the Hamptons, and it's clearly a different house that she's in.
Okay.
And I've been trying to figure out, because she's been posting, like, about... she's like an influencer, so she's been posting about, like, the things she bought to bring to the Hamptons specifically for Gemma, like little, like, baby couches and, like, just, like, travel stuff, and, like, posting, like, the links to them and, like, giving reviews about them and whatever. And so I was trying to figure out, she's clearly in the Hamptons, if she was in that house, and it's definitely a different house, and she hasn't posted anyone from the cast with her. But then I also thought, I don't know when they start filming, because a lot of times they don't finish filming until, like, September. And so, like, I think that they start summer a little later than what I would consider summer. And so I'm like, maybe this is just separate from Summer House anyway, because it's only June.
I don't think so, because I think Carl... So there were rumors that Carl was not coming back, and he said those are false, and he said something that made it sound like the summer's starting. Like, I'm going out there. So maybe Lindsay, I was thinking she would just be a friend and would like
Yeah.
go out less weekends, but maybe she's gonna be in the cast, but she's just gonna be in a different house at night, like staying somewhere else.
I did also think like maybe they just have a different house now, like
It's true.
specifically because Lindsay has a baby.
Yeah.
Maybe they need a safer house or like, you know, I
Sure.
don't know.
Yeah.
But also though, but I think that because she's bringing Gemma, wouldn't it make sense if she had a separate house so that they could keep doing their parties and stuff,
right,
and not disturb her baby?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
But that is disappointing. I wish she wasn't in the Hamptons because I just want them to give. I mean, really, all I care about is Paige. So just give Paige a new show. But it would be nice if it was a few of the girls. But I assume if Carl's still there, then Kyle and Amanda are still there. Well, I just thought maybe if Amanda, because people were saying like maybe Paige and Amanda and the people who are like married and older and like don't want to do this anymore would like go somewhere else, like a Roni or like something. But I would think that that would have to include Amanda.
Yeah,
So,
but I think also that like I think part of Paige leaving is that this last summer was so hard.
Yeah.
For her, and like Amanda and Kyle had like one of their best summers in a while, it would seem.
Sure, but I just meant like if production had offered them a different show.
Yeah.
And they were going to do that, then they probably would not be doing this. So
I, for one, am obviously devastated about our Lord and Savior, Paige DeSorbo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I tried to send you a screenshot of her story and that said just no, and it would not go through. And I was like, at a certain point, I was like, I hope this never goes through, because at this point it's embarrassing if it goes through like 3 days late. But as soon as I saw it, I was like devastated. But I did just finish How to Giggle. So I feel like I have a new perspective on Paige. I think one, it makes sense for this point in her career. Like we said, she's just about to release her clothes. She's finished her tour, but like very successful in the podcasting front. And two, this may be my cue to start fully listening to Giggly Squad.
Yeah.
I really only consume like true crime podcasts, but I have recently gotten into like not that recent, like a couple years, Normal Gossip, and I love Normal Gossip, and so I feel like I would like Giggly Squad.
Yeah. I've been watching their Hannah and Paige Try New Things series on YouTube. It's been fun. Lexi, surprise, surprise, did also announce that she will not be returning next season. So
weigh in, everyone. Did Lexi stand up for women?
Do you want me to weigh in?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like severely struggling with the Lexi thing because can I like hear your take? I promise I'll still be so honest about mine, but can you go first?
Yeah. I feel bad for Lexi. And I think that she stood up for herself.
Yeah, Lexi stood up for Lexi, and Lexi is a woman.
Yeah. I think that I don't know what like when people do stuff like that, they're like, the DMs I get that say like, oh, I went through the same thing. I'm certain she's getting those kinds of DMs, and that makes her feel like she has stood up for women everywhere. But I think that she was told at the reunion and seemed to perceive and understand by Sierra that like in your effort to tear Jesse down, you took me down with him as a woman. Like she's like on your press tour, you didn't come for him, you came for the two of us as a
Mm-hmm.
team
Mm-hmm.
almost. And like it seemed like after Sierra explained that to her that she felt really bad and that she
Mm-hmm.
understood that. And so like I think to say that she stood up for women is kind of dismissing how she made Sierra feel.
Mm-hmm.
Um
And
I
like I
think
think
that
the other girls were kind of like when she kept saying like, no, it's not y'all's fault that he kept me from you.
right.
Like, no, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I wanted to be friends with you. The other girls were like, that's so weird though, because like we thought we were making progress with you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I think that I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I think she used the wrong wording. I think that what she meant was like, in standing up for myself, I made a lot of women who had experienced the same things feel seen and feel vindicated, whatever. But like, not like I stood up for women. I think
Yeah.
those are two different things. And I think she did the first thing,
Yeah.
but she just used the wrong wording. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where I struggle is like, I think Lexi stood up for herself, and I think that
Yeah.
Jesse wasn't great to her, and I think that like Jesse, like, I don't know. I mean, we don't have these conversations on camera, so I have to just believe her. But like, I do think from what we saw, it makes perfect sense to me that Jesse was like, "Don't talk to those girls," like whatever, and was like kind of trying to keep them separate. But like, I think the part I struggle with is still that like, I just don't really like her.
Yeah.
And I like still like don't really think that she like is as much for Paige and Sierra and Amanda as she is just trying to be like against Jesse, which is like fine. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I think I just like Billy will be watching and he'll be like, dude, I hate Lexi. And I'm like, but I'm like, you hate women? Yeah. Disgusting.
I can hate Lexi because I'm a woman.
Yeah, but I'm like, well, but I'm like, no, because I hate Jesse. So I can't hate Lexi. And Billy's like, can we hate them both? And I'm like, I don't know.
This is what's happening with Jesse and Michelle.
Right. All the Jessies confusing me.
Here's I think my final thought on it. I think that Lexi learned more from her mistakes in that like 30-second conversation with Sierra than Jesse learned from his mistakes watching this whole season back and having Lexi yell at him through this entire reunion. And I think that's evidenced by the fact that Lexi had that conversation with Sierra. She started crying and telling Gabby how bad she felt. Meanwhile, Jesse had listened to Lexi pour her heart out about how she felt this whole situation, and he went backstage and said she was lying.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think so too. How rude of them to have Emerald come out only to confirm that Toegate happened and then to leave.
Yeah. At first, when they said like Emerald will be joining us later, I genuinely thought maybe he's running late.
Yeah.
Because I was like justifying it in my head, and I was like, surely they would not have an official cast member in and out like he was a friend of. But then, and so when they brought him out, I thought he was going to stay the rest of the time, and they got done and they sent him on his way. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so weird. Lindsay did she did announce that her and Turner are not together, albeit in a confusing way. She said that they are not romantically together, but that they're doing really great co-parenting, which is awesome.
Yes.
Killing it. What's interesting is that literally the cast was like so shocked.
Yes.
And Wes was like, I was just at your house and I was there for hours with Turner there, and I never would have known that you're not together.
Yeah.
Which is like interesting, because does that just mean like, oh, see, y'all were so nice to each other
Yeah.
that, like, I would never know that you weren't together? Or do they mean, like, because y'all were making out?
She said they're not, like, friends with benefits.
Sure, yeah.
But I think, like, I think it just basically means that they aren't acting any differently
They're
towards each
being
other.
very nice.
Right.
They're
cordial, and that she didn't say anything to anyone.
Yeah. Lindsay was doing great on this reunion. She got this, like, beautiful read on Jesse and Lexi where she's like,
Everyone
it's all
applauded.
about perception. Everyone clapped for her. They said, that's our mom. And it was so cute. She said, I have goosebumps.
Carl clapped for her.
It was so cute. Amanda talked about her and Kyle's relationship, which was, like, super sad. Like, she was talking about how, like, there had been a point recently, which apparently we're gonna see in some weird, like, uncut footage. Did you not watch till the end? There's, like, a new episode coming out that's, like, basically, like, unseen things.
I saw the, like, the clip they showed of unseen footage.
Then at the very end of the reunion, it was like next week, and it's, like, gonna be some, like, stuff. So yeah. Basically she said that, like, there have been times where she had, like, one foot out of her relationship. And it kind of sounds like they're still in that place. Like, I think she meant it as, like, I was, and, like, now we're good, but, like, it doesn't really sound like they're good.
Yeah, it didn't sound like past tense.
Yeah, like, I think that she, in the end, was, like, still, like, threatening him, that, like, in obviously an incredible, like, do it, girl. You gotta get what you gotta get out of your relationship. But, like, I don't have to be with you.
Yeah. And I think that, like, people, I think a lot of times people, I don't know what I'm trying to say. We know that a breakup from a marriage is different from a breakup in a relationship, of course. But I think that the point Amanda was trying to make is that there's so many more things that they're trying to make happen in their marriage now that, like, she has to really evaluate, like, if they're going to have kids, like, she has to, like, very seriously think about, because you don't want to end up like Jesse, who's saying, I don't want this man to be a role model for my kids.
Yeah.
And so I just think that it's, like, coming to a different stage for them where and I think that maybe goes to, like, her saying, like, I don't know if I want kids. Maybe she didn't know if she wanted them before, and so this hasn't been something she had to think about before. But
yeah.
Do you think that this statement from Amanda or Lindsay's statement about Turner was the shocking piece of info Jesse teased?
I think it was Lindsay.
Okay.
Because he, like, said, I think he was saying it because they were shocked about it. And then after he said it, he was like, oh, it's not going to be that big a deal.
Right. And I think that, like,
and I don't think the Amanda thing was, like, a piece of information as much.
Right. I think that I don't think that it's something that everyone was privy to.
Sure.
But, like, they had, like, clear reactions to what Lindsay said.
Yeah.
And it just seemed more like when Amanda was talking that they were just kind of, like, taking it in.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, okay, she's being vulnerable. Great.
Yeah.
Paige is giving us the details, girl. Laying it out for us.
Without his name.
Yes, of course. I'm feeling like such flashbacks to, like, Ariana after Scandival, when they're like, so about my Amy girl, and she's like, yeah, I lied for him.
Yeah.
We were together, whatever. Like, I did that. Paige says, yeah, he literally got kicked out of Amanda and Kyle's wedding, and I've been lying for him. Everything is true.
Yeah. I just hate that, like, I heard all of this and was like, okay, yes, like, reaffirm Team Paige, but I feel like other people will hear it and still think that, like, she strung him along knowing she wasn't going to marry him.
Yeah, I kind of hated that Andy asked her that question.
I hate that narrative for her.
Yeah,
like
I get it.
Fucking sucked.
Yeah, I get it. But when he asked, like, you were talking about this very openly on TV, like, did you know that by the time it aired, y'all wouldn't be together? And, like, I thought, I don't know, like, and she answered it fine, but, like, I think that you have to consider that, like, in her mind, she's probably saying, like, okay, either by the end of this year, when this airs, we will be better and it won't matter that we struggled through this, or by the end, we will be broken up and then it won't matter. Yeah. So, like, I'm going to just be honest. But then I thought it was interesting that she was like, no, me and my ex had always agreed that, like, if we're feeling something on camera, like, we should say it and we should be honest. And I'm like, Craig did? Right. Craig said honesty is the best policy? Weird. That's weird.
He doesn't know much about honesty, so he was like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I swear to God, not Jesse saying that he would go for Paige now. Like, dude, she would eat you alive.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Love Island USA, Season 7. And this year, we have Mary along for the ride. At least for now.
Yeah.
See if we can keep her, folks.
I'm doing my best.
So, starting off, fans discovered some TikToks, some TikTok likes, some things in some social media histories that exposed Austin and Yulisa. I'm going to say Yulisa because she said Yulisa. Everyone else on the show keeps saying Yulisa, but when she introduced herself, she said Yulisa. So
I think that explains a lot, because I kept hearing something that I thought sounded like Alyssa, and I was like, who the fuck is Alyssa? Like, and then I couldn't think of anyone whose name had sounded like Alyssa.
Yeah, Ariana and the narrator keep saying Yulisa.
The narrator also says Huda.
Yes, but I think that's just his accent.
Right. I not put too much stake in his commentary.
Oh, it's so good though. So basically, Austin and Yulisa both are seemingly Trump supporters, causing a lot of people to say that production didn't vet these people enough, that they'll just vote them out first. Now, other people are replying. Other people who you can probably guess how they feel about politics are commenting and saying, this is not a liberal dating show. People are allowed to believe what they believe and to go on a show and date other people and find a partner. Sure. Except then things like this happen.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm gonna keep this comment to myself, actually.
Yeah, but here's, maybe Mary can tell me I have to shut up, and then we have to cut this. But this is the thing that people do not seem to understand, is that these people who are openly on the internet Trump supporters are also openly on the internet on podcast episodes using the N-word over and over again. And yeah, you could say maybe that was just Yulisa. But I don't think anyone was shocked to hear her say those things on that podcast after they had already found out what they found out from her TikTok.
Right.
So, here we are. People, again, were like, fine, if the show's not going to kick them off, we'll just vote them off. What do we care?
We'll do it ourselves.
Yeah, that's fine. But also, they were calling for production to do something about this, specifically the Yulisa thing. And then, on episode 2, she just wasn't there.
Yeah. And
poor Mary was like, about to start the episode just to see what happened with Yulisa. And I said, okay.
I'm not kidding. You said, well, and for some reason, I didn't take that into consideration. And I got like halfway through the episode and I was like, I haven't seen this bitch once. I must have missed it. I started it all the way over and rewatched the same half of the episode just for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I watched the first episode and I thought, I don't want to keep watching this. I don't like this show. But then I wanted to see what happened with Yulisa, and I was disappointed once again.
Yeah.
I had also like seen a lot of people unhappy. I hadn't heard about like the MAGA stuff, but I had seen a lot of people saying like they were unhappy with her outfit on the second night that was like culturally appropriative. So
I have to see which outfit.
She was wearing like a dress that it's not in and of itself a traditional Chinese dress, but it's designed to look like one. Like the collar is, and then she had chopsticks in her hair, which like I saw someone saying like chopsticks in your hair is not necessarily like bad. You know, people wear chopsticks in their hair. The problem was
the
them
combination
together.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't super surprised.
Yeah. It was just like crazy. They literally are like, everyone's waking up in the villa and Yulissa's gone, and we're making breakfast for everyone. And then I saw these clips that were like, oh, okay, but they're going to go to the fire pit and they're going to tell them there what happened. But instead, they just have Ace being like, now I'm single.
I then watched the third episode because I was like, surely they will mention it. Nope. I also, though, and I texted Katie this, I said, is it normal for every single woman on this show to use a black scent regardless of their race? And she said, not really. And specifically, I was talking about Bella and Yulisa.
I just don't like. I don't know that I felt that way about Yulisa though. I don't know. She has an actual accent, and so I don't know that I heard black scent through that.
I might be getting myself mixed up with the clip from the podcast episode.
Yeah, and that on the show, I didn't notice it.
I have been watching a lot of Blackiana videos on TikTok. Do you know what that is?
No.
They're videos of when Ariana Grande used to cosplay as a black person. And so now I'm like, feel like I'm like on the hunt.
Sure.
I'm more aware.
Yulisa has since made a statement saying that she had no right to and never should have used that word. So I guess that's good.
Yeah. Again, having heard it,
yeah,
I just don't believe her. And also, like she said, it was years ago. And like, first of all, isn't she like 24 too?
Probably.
And so I'm like, what were you doing on a podcast years ago?
Yeah.
For what reason were you featured on a podcast years ago?
Yeah.
About relationships. I guess that's what I think the conversation was about. Yeah, it was just, it's just a lot. Like literally, like it wasn't like Hannah Brown where she like sang it in a song. Like she was over and over. I was like, oh my God, like how many times is she like in a contest? Like how many times can you say it in one sitting?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you seen the doppelgangers people have given Austin because they're so funny?
I have seen a couple.
Okay. People say he looks like Phineas from Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
Timu Justin Hartley.
Mm-hmm.
That's personal the one I saw. My favorite is that he looks like Lizzie McGuire's younger brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that one too.
Spot fucking on.
Yeah.
Because I was like staring at him. And like, you know how I feel about doppelgangers. I was like staring at him and I was like, I know that people are going to look at him and think he looks like Justin Hartley. I know that. I also know that there's someone he looks more like. And I can't figure out who it is. And I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that one's a good one. They have new phones this season. They have those flippy phones.
Amen.
Crazy. Literally just watching the screen with Bella's name is pretty insufferable. I need to like Love is Blind watch this and like put a sheet over my television.
I told Katie that might be the reason I choose not to watch it this year before it started. Also, though, I think it's funny that you said the Love is Blind thing, because have you seen people who are saying they think that Bella accidentally signed up for Love Island when she was trying to sign up for Love is Blind, and she was too embarrassed to admit it, because they were like, she clearly doesn't know what show she's on until this last fucking episode. Holy shit. It like she clearly doesn't know what show she's on. She won't kiss anybody. She don't want to explore anything. Like she thought she was signing up for Love is Blind. And then on that same note, Sammy, because like, you know, he has to like say something mean about it, of course. So he said like, I wonder if they give these people an IQ test as like how they screen them, and they pick the lowest ones and put them on. And I was like, first of all, that's so fucking mean. Secondly, that's so fucking mean. And like, then he also said, that they should put something in the contract that they're not allowed to complain about the person they like exploring something else. And I said, that's like half the show. Is that's like the drama.
I also like starting Love Island is like starting Big Brother. Like it's never good at the beginning. Like
that's what I figured.
Like it's just like I remember last season I was like, I don't care about any of these people. And then look how that turned out. So like I'm trying to give them, I don't know that they're gonna compare to last season's cast, but like I'm trying to give them some time to work into it. I mean, so far not off to a great start, but we'll see. So I think that because of last season, people are really like, or they just like them. I mean, who am I to say? But I think people are really wanting to like the girls. Like last season, the whole thing was like these female friendships, and like we loved the girls, and the girls were great. And so
I'm so sick of Huda talking about the sisterhood that they share.
But so in the second episode or whatever, Alandria and Huda have like words at the fire pit, and everyone on the internet is like, no, but I think they're gonna be fine. Like I think they're gonna be able to get over it. And it's like, like I do hope that they don't like beef the whole time. But I also don't want to be made to feel guilty and feel like I have to love every single one of them, because the person who I thought was gonna be my favorite is no longer, but we'll get there. But like they did make up. It was all good. But they don't have to be a carbon copy of last year.
I had like two trains of thought when that was happening. My first was, I find it kind of irritating, like when people feel the need to go like over the top commenting about something. Like it's something that like bothers me on like the Morbid podcast, when they are talking about like wanting to like, they're like, oh, I wish I could like rip their eyeballs out. Like when people are just like over the top, like hating someone or mad at someone, I find that irritating. So I was also kind of irritated with Huda being like, oh, my girls deserve better than this. And then I also though was like confused when Alandria was like, oh my gosh, like she thought I was like being mean to her. Like I was like, what way did you think that was coming off? Like that, I feel like the fact that, I don't know, like I probably would have said the same thing, but I also probably would have meant for it to be like, shut the fuck up.
I think I like get obviously that it sounded not great, like it sounded like beef. But I also like understood that like Alandria was just trying to quickly say like, you don't need to go to bat for us. Like we'll chat later.
I don't even think it was like mean necessarily. I just like, I'm like I just think it was like definitely a way to say, like, shut up.
Yeah, like, we're good. But I also think that they were worried, like, Elandria is probably a little worried about how it's making them look. Like, Elandria did kiss someone else.
Yeah.
And so, like, she doesn't need her friend, like, going to bat against Taylor and telling him he's a child because he's exploring just like Elandria's exploring.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why she, like, finally said it, is because she's like, okay, actually, like,
Yeah.
we're not actually feeling that way.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It is weird to me how, I mean, all of the guys are kind of like bothered by Jeremiah being like locked in, but like Ace in particular is like very bothered by the fact that Jeremiah doesn't want to like let his freak flag fly.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, come on, dude. And it's like very weird.
Yeah. I love how down bad he is for Huda. I like, yeah, I kind of hate the like mom and dad thing. I think it's so old, like played out. But like, I love that those new girls came and he was like, I'm married.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was like, amazing. Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think like, I get it. The point is to explore. The point is to explore. But it's like,
but the
if I'm
point
done,
isn't necessarily to explore. Like,
if I'm done,
found what he was looking for.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, like whatever. His reaction to finding out that Huda has a kid was not my favorite ever.
Yeah. Yes, and I do kind of feel like in this situation, meaning like reality TV love competition shows, and I feel this way about every single one. I feel like you need to lead with that.
Uh-huh.
Because, and I think that like, I will say, I think that like The Bachelor is different when you're vying for one man. I think if you want to hold on to that information for a little bit, because then when you tell him he's having to choose between all these women, he can say like, you know what, I'm not ready for that. Goodbye. But I think when it's like an equal amount of men and women, I do feel like you kind of need to lead with that, because if you're looking for love in this kind of like controlled environment with this certain number of men that you're having to choose from, then you do also need to be looking for someone who's ready to be a step parent.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that she should have like stood at the taste test, is what they're calling it, and been like, I'm a mom who's cool with that. But like, I do think that she should have told him once they were a couple.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, like, I kind of always disagree with like waiting to tell them, even on The Bachelor. Like, I just think, and like, it's not something that I'm like up in arms about. Like, it is what it is. But I feel like, yes, if you're on Big Brother and you want to like keep your profession or your life or whatever a secret because people could use it against you or because it'll make them think whatever, fine. If you're on a strategy show,
right,
fine. But like, if you are genuine about like, I want to find a partner and I want to find a step parent for my kid, like, to me it feels odd to be like, I want to make sure that they really like me first before I tell them, because it's like, okay, well, now you may have just like clouded what they would actually think about being a step parent with the fact that they really like you. So like, if you wait till he is head over heels for you and now he's like, well, damn, I don't want to be a stepdad, but I don't want to lose Huda, then it's like, at this point, not like she meant to do this, but it's like, at this point, he's been manipulated into being a stepdad because he likes you so much. And it's like, to me, I would just want to know that someone is so fully invested in joining this life that I have, that like, it would absolutely be like the first thing out of my mouth. Hey, don't waste my time. If you have no interest on your own, if you have no interest in being a stepdad, then we don't need to keep talking.
Yeah. I also think it's like different than like dating in the real world, where it's like easier to like cut something off and everyone move on than like, as much as like we want to believe that this show is just about finding love, like putting someone in a situation where like they do break up and then they're like fighting for their life trying to stay on this show for whatever reason, and they have no other options because y'all have mom and dad gotten married like yeah, I do agree. It wasn't a great reaction. Sure. I do think he bounced back.
Yeah, I think so too. And I just didn't love that she said I'm a mom and he said at 24.
And then she said, yeah, she's like 4 years old. I was like, yeah. I said,
yeah, yeah. He's like, when did you have time for that?
Yeah, he's like doing the calculations in his head, and he's like, how long ago were you pregnant?
Yeah. I just finished episode 4, and I think I'm out on Huda. She is losing. Maybe I could come back, but she is losing her ever-loving mind.
Yes. Here's my thought. I feel like I'm going to keep saying this. I have a problem with these non-Black women.
To be honest, I find it interesting that you are noticing it so hard, because it's like, to me, and I like, this is fine, but it's like, to me, like, Huda isn't white. And so like, I don't know her background enough. I don't know what cities she's grown up in. Like, I don't know her enough to know. Yeah. To me, a black scent is when it's like on and off, that I start to be like, oh. But like, if that's just how Huda talks, then like, I don't know.
That's fair. I think, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's
like fine if it's a red flag for you. I just don't know.
I think it's just something that like sticks in my head, and maybe it's like being from Memphis, where white women do tend to go in and out of that, like depending on who they're talking to. Like I have had a lot of friends who like completely changed their tone of voice around different people, of like people of different races and whatever. And maybe it's just like something that like bothers me that I'm stuck on, but like I don't know, it just feels weird to me. But I texted you, like, Huda's the first one I noticed. I was like, she's so cute.
Yeah, like,
her eyelashes are making me nuts, though.
Yeah.
I kind of want to rip her eyelashes off and like.
Oh, they're driving you nuts.
Yes,
yeah, sure. I know that she's Middle Eastern.
Okay.
I just looked it up. She's Iraqi. Okay. And so it's just like, I think it's just hard. I mean, that's not to say that her or Lisa or any of them get to whatever, but like, I don't know Bella's ethnicity. I don't know Lisa's full ethnicity. I do know that I am whiter than them.
Yeah.
And so it just feels weird for me to be like, why are you talking like that? Because like, I don't know.
Okay. That's fair. I concede to that. Like, I'm whiter than them. Yeah, that's my bad.
I do want to know about Bella, though. She's from Hawaii, right?
She's not from Hawaii. She's from Indiana.
Oh, okay.
She lives in Hawaii. But
half Filipino and half white.
I was like, if she had told me that Bella was Hawaiian, I would have 100% believed you.
Sure.
But anyway, I think that's just something that I'm like, I don't know, makes me not want to watch them as much.
Sure.
I don't know. I liked Huda at first. Not so sure now. I don't like dislike her. I don't really have a problem with her crashing out. Even I love her and Jeremiah. I think they're
I do too,
cute.
But like, girl, in the challenge with new people, and she's just so quick.
I did think it was crazy. She was like, does she not see the connection he and I have? And I like looked at Sammy. I said, she just got here.
Oh, no, they can watch them. They're watching them on TV. The bombshells see them.
But like, it's only been 4 days.
Sure. Yeah. I think what's weird to me is like her immediate ability to be like I feel like she hates women. Like, immediately she's like, I'm not mad at Jeremiah at all, but how dare that bitch? And it's like, okay, take
I don't like her.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, she's just here.
I also think, though, because like, here's what I thought. When that girl picked him, Amaya, that's her name. When Amaya picked him for 4th base, We could see the crash out coming. It was
Mhm.
in the distance, the very near distance. But I thought to myself, she's going to get over there and he's going to say, "You can give me one on the cheek." And he
No,
did it.
instead he just stood like a statue.
And yes, I said he's clearly uncomfortable, but he's more into it than when Yelisa tried to come for him.
Mhm.
And I think that, like, if I were Huda and I had seen him do that before and he
Mhm.
didn't do it this time, I would be mad at him.
I'd be like, what's
But
different about her?
So
You cut out again. I don't
I
even know
don't
what you
hate
said.
women. I don't hate women. I don't hate women.
I do hate this connection though.
We had a storm this morning.
Mm.
So that's probably it.
Okay, why did it actually genuinely look like someone's IUD fell out?
Had you seen that before I sent it to you?
No, but I've seen it a
Probably.
lot after.
Okay, I was crashing. I've been crashing out since last night with this picture of an IUD, and all the people who are responding to it and are like, "That's a tree branch." I'm like, what the fuck? Then somebody put together a collage
Mhm.
of diagrams of all the different types of IUDs on the market and was like, "It doesn't look like any of these." And I was like, "You're fucking lying." Like,
Yeah, like I wondered if I don't know, but like there's a couple of them that are nurses, and I'm like, I wonder. Okay,
you think
this is
Nick brought an IUD?
well, Amaya's a nurse, although she said she's in like ER or something. Anyway, what I was gonna say is I don't know all their jobs, and I know some nurse practitioners that work in the field of IUDs, and they like carry IUDs on like their name tags. So I was like, did someone roll up with a prop IUD for rah rah, I love my job as a nurse? And then it just ended up in the middle of the villa?
They said,
I like that better than someone's fell out.
They said, "I love reproductive health."
Rah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people also, like, I saw like people who probably can't use IUDs saying, like, IUDs can't just fall out.
I mean,
They can.
they don't.
They don't, but they can.
I mean,
But like,
they can't just fall. Like something happens.
I know someone who they like said they were using the bathroom, I think is what they put this on Instagram. So it is years ago, but someone I know said they were like using the bathroom and they realized that their IUD was like half hanging out and it was like painful and they were like, "I don't know what to do." They just ripped it the rest of the way out.
Yeah.
And they posted like a picture of it like on the side of their tub.
Yeah.
But so like, but the idea that someone did that and
Yeah, they're all
left
wearing
it on the
panties.
ground, left it on the ground
Yeah.
in the villa.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's crazy. I was trying so hard to make it be like a honeysuckle or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what could this be? No, that's an IUD.
Not a tree branch, I can assure you.
No.
I feel
white
confident.
Tree branch.
White and plastic tree.
All right. As a new Love Island watcher, I would like to give my opinions and ask some questions. Opinions. These episodes are so fucking long.
True.
I say after Katie Oh, when they said like these people are single, they're now vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean like when America gets to vote people out, they can only vote out single people?
Mm-mm.
Okay, what are they vulnerable to?
They can leave at any time.
Like they can just Am I
don't think it
am I being too woke?
It's too sensitive, folks. Like, I don't think I noticed it at the level you did.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, it's about consistency for me. If that is simply how you talk, then, like, fine.
You're right. And I
if
think
we're coming in and out, like, not sure.
Yeah, and I think you had a good point that I am 100%